After being swept in the first round of the NBA playoffs, the Miami Heat are expected to make significant changes this summer. Pat Riley will undoubtedly want to chase a new marquee name to help boost interest in the franchise. However, the Heat could be better served by taking a more cautious approach. In his June 2nd offseason preview of the Heat, Spotrac's cap expert, Keith Smith, detailed why taking a gap year could set Miami up for long-term success. They could reasonably hit the summer of 2026 with $30 or $40 million in cap space, with the potential for even more, Smith explained. Obviously, if the Heat swing a star trade this offseason, that changes everything. Either way, they're set up with pretty good flexibility, no matter which direction they go. Smith continued. That means this might be another down year. Given Miami owns its own first-round pick free and clear in the 2026 draft, it might not be a bad time to have a gap year. Then, the Heat can get back to work with cap space and a good pick in the summer of 2026. Riley isn't known for his patience. However, having the flexibility to revamp the roster in one summer will likely be enticing. Unfortunately, the front office may not be sold on another season of struggle. Furthermore, Erik Spoelstra would likely prefer to be coaching a team capable of contending. Heat seen as a realistic landing spot for Durant during a recent episode of The Zach Lowe Show. The longtime NBA analyst cited Miami as a logical landing spot for Kevin Durant. This is a team that does not react well from being this far from the bar, and so I'm expecting a big offseason for them, Lowe said. I don't know what form that's going to take. I think they'll try to, but into any superstar trade conversations that come up. They've got stuff, just not that much stuff. They can trade 2 first-round picks right now, and on draft night they can trade a third. If the Giannis thing actually comes to bear, I just don't see how they have any shot in hell at getting into that. Durant is much more realistic to me. Durant would instantly put the Heat back in contention in the Eastern Conference. Nevertheless, Riley would need to add more depth to the roster. Otherwise, the Heat could still fall short in the postseason. Whether Riley would choose to go down the superstar route rather than play the long game remains to be seen. Riley could prefer short-term success. Riley's tenure with the Heat is undoubtedly coming to a close. He is already 80 years old. As such, he's likely to prefer a shot at immediate success rather than playing the long game and building for the future. If that is the case, then embracing a potential gap year could be a non-starter. However, if Riley is making decisions based on his remaining time with the Heat rather than what's best for the franchise, then maybe it's time he steps down. After all, one more bad year isn't a steep price to pay. Not when the result means significant cap space to retool in 2026. The Miami Heat's need for a new leading star has been well documented. Jimmy Butler left a big hole in Erik Spoelstra's rotation. Since Miami's 2024-25 season ended abruptly, the rumors have primarily focused on veteran additions to the Heat's roster. However, a recent trade proposal from Bleacher Report's Greg Swartz shows Miami does have other options, which would allow them to get younger. Swartz's trade idea looked like this. Miami Heat get Lauri Markkanen, Utah Jazz get Nikola Jovic, Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, a 2025 first-round pick via Golden State, and a 2030 first-round pick, top 5 protected. We could see a huge front line in Miami with Markkanen, Kel'el Ware, and Bam Adebayo, giving this roster a good mixture of outside shooting and defensive versatility, Swartz reasoned. After averaging just 95.5 points per game in a first-round sweep, the Heat need an offensive boost that Markkanen would provide. Markkanen spent the start of last summer mired in trade rumors. He ended up re-signing with the Jazz. However, Utah's slow rebuild could entice the star big man to begin looking for a new home in the league. Miami would be a strong landing spot for him, assuming he fits into Erik Spoelstra's system. He could choose to take a gap year. In his June 2nd offseason preview of the Heat, Spotrac's cap expert, Keith Smith, detailed why accepting a down year could set Miami up for long-term success. They could reasonably hit the summer of 2026 with $30 or $40 million in cap space, with the potential for even more, Smith explained. Obviously, if the Heat swing a star trade this offseason, that changes everything. Either way, they're set up with pretty good flexibility, no matter which direction they go. Smith continued. That means this might be another down year. Given Miami owns its own first-round pick free and clear in the 2026 draft, it might not be a bad time to have a gap year. Then, the Heat can get back to work with cap space and a good pick in the summer of 2026. Pat Riley isn't known for embracing failure, even if it's building towards something special. So, Riley may be tough to sell on the value of a losing season. Heat unlikely to land a top-tier superstar. Bill Simmons doesn't view the Heat as a genuine contender to acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo this summer. The veteran analyst doesn't believe Miami has the necessary trade pieces to make a deal work. I wish Miami had one more guy because there is a BAM and all your picks for Giannis framework that I think would work, but it just puts Giannis in the same situation he is in now, Simmons said in a recent episode of his The Bill Simmons Show podcast. It's safe to assume that Simmons' reservations likely stem from a potential move for Kevin Durant, too. As such, a deal for Markkanen may be the ideal sweet spot for the Heat. Of course, there's no inclination that Utah would be willing to do business, nor that any of the Heat's players would be of interest. Still, that would be unlikely to stop Riley from kicking the tires on a potential deal. The Miami Heat Kevin Durant sweepstakes have gotten interesting. While the Heat are still not a favorite to acquire the two-time Finals MVP, Phoenix lowering their asking price for him creates a more realistic avenue for them to have a chance. CBS Sports writer Sam Quinn pitched a blockbuster trade proposal for Miami to land Durant, involving the Portland Trail Blazers and a barrage of Heat assets. Heat receive. Kevin Durant's sons receive Andrew Wiggins, Robert Williams III, Nikola Jovic, 2030 first-round pick, 2032 first-round pick. Trailblazers receive Duncan Robinson. Miami has the least player value to offer here unless Kel'el Ware, probably no, Tyler Herro, almost certainly no, or Bam Adebayo, you've been beheaded for besmirching Heat culture, were available. That means they'd have to supplement their offer with the most pick value. In this deal, we'll let the Heat keep the number 20 pick this year to help build depth. In exchange, the Suns get unprotected picks in 2030 and 2032, when Durant will be retired and Adebayo will be at or near the end of his prime. Some have encouraged the Heat to settle down this offseason, but if they can get a superstar, they should by all means. Heat President Pat Riley isn't going to settle for mediocrity, and there remains confidence that he'll make a big splash this offseason. This trade gives the Heat the star option in the scoring unit to complement Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo. Durant can hit from any spot on the floor, giving him unlimited range to accompany his teammates. In return, the Suns get solid frontcourt pieces and draft capital they desperately need, while Portland gets an outside threat for a team that ranked bottom 5 in three-point shooting last season. Jaden is a journalism school graduate of Howard University. He was the 2024 recipient of the Terez Paylor Scholarship Award. He previously worked at the Orlando Sentinel,